What's going on, guys? It's Yoji. In this video I want to talk about mostly Ultimatum League, how the first launch weekend went. Spoilers, not that great, but also kind of not horrible for me personally. And also like how my first impressions are of the league, how my league starter went, because everyone always wants to know that when they come into stream chat. They're always like, how's the build going? How's the build going? By the way, how's the build going? How's the build going? So I'm going to talk about how the build's going, but mostly to address the title. I'm currently a bit bored with ultimatums already, which is weird, and I think it might be the league, but it might also not be the league, and that also goes into my build. Maybe I'm bored of my build, so that's kind of like what I want to discuss here today. Random German today creeping in. Alright, so first of all, on paper I think Ultimatum League looks pretty amazing. The risk versus reward is definitely there. The Chaos Orb guy, the SAS Master as we like to call him, is freaking fantastic. I think the voice lines are so on point, it's so amazing how he gets annoyed if you win all the time. He just goes like, this guy again comes to win again, and if you like fail and lose, it's like, the one round challenger is back. I love this guy, it's amazing. Like the whole dynamic, you kind of get into a situation where you just want to win to prove the freaking SAS Master wrong, even though it's maybe not even useful for your character what you're like fighting for selling or at all. Like, but you just kind of like, if I end now, he's gonna mock me next time, and I love that mechanic. I think GGG definitely nailed that whole part about it. I think the whole choice part is cool, choosing your own modifiers. Depending on your build, you have maybe some free ones, and you maybe have some ones where you're like, oh damn. And there are definitely some that I think that are basically tricky for all builds, some against which you can have immunity as well, like the hinder mechanic. There's a cannot be hindered on jewels that is very, very valuable, I think, for ultimatums now, because there are two hinder mods, the ground that hinders you, and there's also the flask hinder you by 50% modifier, which you can completely ignore with those. So I think that's definitely something that's worth chasing, that basically ever before now really was worth chasing. So those are the positive parts about the league. Now, how come I am bored? So first of all, I think the obvious part, the league mechanic is kind of samey, kind of similar to ritual. Still feels very similar, not only in that you click a thing and then you like kind of like run around the circle kite a bit to like fight off hordes of monsters, and it's also suffers from the same problem I had with ritual, where it's like a very spammy elite mechanic. It just spams monsters at your face, spams monsters at your face at the same time. The shrine mechanics keep happening. It's just like a random huge clusterfuck thing, and it's not really like a tactical fight. You're not really like, I don't know, with surgical precision, like removing targets or monsters. You're just like kind of like trying to either survive or kill enough monsters, or like stay in the circles for a bit, or like run through them, kite around the edges, just so you can somehow like get the ritual over, or like the ultimatum. They're so samey. I keep saying ritual. That's how samey they are. And I'm kind of like, we had that before, right? We just had that. So my issue with that, and then on top of that, is I'm playing a Gladiator Bladestorm, Bleed, and Corrupting Fever build. And what that playstyle is like, you can see in the background here. You like leaf slam from pack to pack, and while clearing this build is fantastic, especially. You clear, you drop a sandstorm, you jump to the next pack, drop a sandstorm, and the multi-hits of the sandstorm will spread bleeds and corrupting fever, corrupted blood stacks on all the enemies, and basically kill each pack while you already keep going to the next one. And that playstyle is fantastic. And for single target, you swap to blood stands, have the bleeding multiplier, the 100-something% bleed damage, and with Crimson Dance you stack up the bleeds on the single target, as well as the corrupted fever stacks. I'm running life tap on main link. That is actually needed to have any sort of comfortable uptime on corrupting fever, because it requires you to spend over 200 life in 6 seconds to refresh the duration. Otherwise you have to recast it, but that thing costs like 1,000 life. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to chunk yourself all the time, especially in the middle of a freaking ritual thing. You just don't want to do that in that clusterfuck of rare monsters with overlapping auras. It's a bad idea to chunk yourself for 1,000 life, as you can imagine. So without all that together, I think my issue is, I'm not 100% sure if I just find the league mechanic boring because we just had that, or it's because it's the build. Because that build, especially in ultimatums, but also like while mapping, feels very similar to my last build that I played to level 99 last league, and that's cremation. So you run, you keep up your buffs like Arcane Cloak and stuff, that's Corrupting Fever. You have to like resource manage your life instead of your mana. It's like, it's still very similar from a mindset playstyle thing. And then you like drop a thing that deals constant damage in an area, and you move on. You drop a thing, you move on, and while you're in the rituals, or in the rituals last league and now in the ultimatums, you drop storms and you move in circles around the arena. It's exactly the same playstyle, and Maybe that's just that. So as I just don't want to quit the league after like a few days, I'm gonna reroll a different build. That's the plan. Not because the build is horrible. As you can see, clear is fantastic. So far, campaign was a breeze for the build. Boss damage is solid for absolutely 0 gear. So it's what I was expecting. You will need some more gear, like any attack build does for endgame bosses. But for now, it's doing solid. It's like not the reason I'm quitting this build currently is not because it's not powerful. It is very much so powerful. It's very much powerful. It's very much doing what it's supposed to do. But I think I need a different playstyle, maybe. I really hope so. I hope I don't pick like a completely different build, and I'm going to pick something that I haven't played in ages, and a very different playstyle on purpose, so I make sure that's not the case. But if that happens, if I just don't like Ultimatum, then I'll, of course, let you know what the plans are for the future until the next league then. But I'm currently quite optimistic that it is the playstyle, and that I might actually enjoy a different character in this still pretty samey and similar setting quite a bit more. And yeah, that's it. Sometimes you just re-roll your league starter after 3 days. That happens. But yeah, the league launch, how the league launch went for me. That's like kind of like the last point I wanted to address. And firstly, I had a blast. So what happened is I queued up. And it was around 2,000 in the queue. The queue was super slow. I was like, huh, queue is super slow. Anyways, I'm in. Okay, that's nice. I queued up early. PogChamp, let's play. And I crashed after I did the Dweller of the Deep quest. And I went back in, and the queue was at 110,000 was my queue spot at that point. And the queue was still moving rather slowly. And I only had like 1 more hour to play anyways before going to bed, because I don't want to ruin my sleep schedule. So I went to bed. I just decided, screw this, queue is slow. GG already posted, oh, queue is slow, we invest again. I was like, it's gonna be fixed by tomorrow morning. So happily, I wake up the next morning because freaking baby rages at 6 a.m. I'm like, okay, might as well start the stream. So start the stream, and yeah, still kind of getting kicked out every 10 minutes. But for some reason, we just had fun with it. I made it like my quest to like just scrap myself from waypoint to waypoint, keep crawling, some progress. We were memeing about like how many attempts you need, how often do you need to kill Merveil? Only 6 times? What is this? Just like memeing and joking about and trying to have a good time. I didn't get any priority crew, which I'm pretty happy about. I wouldn't have wanted it, but I also just was not, I think, on the list of GGG, which is completely fine. Like it's cool. Like, I didn't want the priority queue anyways. I'm happy to stay out of the drama. But at the same time, I don't judge anyone who took it as long as they weren't a dick about it. Basically that. Yeah. So I just kept going, and made it to Act 3, I think, within the first 7-8 hours or so of the league, which is, even for my leveling, that's pretty slow. And yeah, from then on, the fixes started happening, and we just blazed through the campaign with the build. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, now I'm gonna reroll. Don't know what yet. Kind of looking at maybe some traps. If Taki reads this, he's probably gonna try to bully me into. Let's hope Taki doesn't see this. He's probably gonna try to bully me into playing traps, which might actually be a good idea. I wanted to play traps for quite a few leagues now. Never really pulled the trigger. Might pull the trigger, but we'll see. I'll make a decision and let you guys know probably in the next video what my second impressions are, as I like to do, like after maybe a week or so, once like everything has sunk in a bit and I tried a different build by then as well. Alright, thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, freaking subscribe, man. What are you doing? Subscribe for more Path of Exile content, memes, and other awesome stuff. I'm Yoji, and I will see you guys soon. Oh, and these peepos, the Patreon peepos, they support the channel. There are quite a lot of them now. So yeah, you might want to check that out. There's some good stuff over there that you can get as perks. Maybe do that. Bye-bye.